Has the Bitcoin bear market already started? Has the SP 500 and US stocks already topped? Those actually are kind of the same question because Bitcoin tends to lead, right? The stock market. And I know everything looks dangerous right now, but look at this. This is actually one of those key trend lines that still hasn't been broken yet. This is the trend line that carried Bitcoin since it was at 15K bottom. Still hasn't been broken yet. And if you think you've seen this chart from me before, have a look at this. Right, this is another way of drawing this line, right? And this was Bitcoin at 15K, and here is Bitcoin where it is now, right? So we're testing key support areas. Why are these two charts different? Because this one that I show you guys all the time is logarithmic chart. See how the numbers just go up, right? Go up by different amounts, right? By larger and larger amounts on the side. That's called an exponential increase. Or in other words, this is what they call log chart. We use that for things that go exponential, like Bitcoin. Whereas this is what most boomers on Wall Street look at, right? When they decide to buy Bitcoin or not, they look at a natural chart. The problem with a natural chart is then basically when, right, prices from a while ago look so tiny, right? So we who trade crypto tend to use more of a log chart. But let's have a look at what the boomers on Wall Street are looking at. They're looking at this bounce here in Gen 24. This is at 39K. Then the Japanese yen crash. This is around 49K. And then this crash, Trump trade war crash at 74K. And now we're coming down here again, right? So this let's say this 92 area is key support. And that shouldn't be a surprise because we've drawn 92 as like a key area on many of our charts. Like just look at 92 here, right? So this area right here, that's 93. It's roughly the same area because look at how many times it supported this bull market, right? Double top. This was the double top around Trump election, December and Jan, right? Bounce, bounce, bounce. And then here it became the support again once we go up. So that's what we call confluence. We have this blue line, right? And we have this red rising trend line. So it doesn't mean it'll stop there. It doesn't mean if the bear market, I'm saying if the bear market has started, right, we can break down here. But you would think with this much confluence, we get a bounce. And even if we use a log chart, even if we use a logarithmic chart, we still see, right, this trend line, which connects this bottom at 15K, this bottom at 25K, and then it's never been touched again. And now, right, it sets up the bottom here around 92K once again. And this chart is the one that I show folks all the time, right? It's the one from Bitstamp that I use all the time because it has the longest history. And we can see that this 92K was marked out on there a long time ago. It's just that we never really touched it since they support levels here. Now, the crazy thing is, look at how crazy this chart is that this one is the natural chart, not log scale. And I want to show you guys how crazy this chart looks. I show it every now and then to keep us in perspective of where we're headed, right? So this, if we take it through the 2017 top, and then the 2021 top, and now we take it through the last few tops we've had this year, it's basically having trouble getting above here, right? Having trouble breaking through, right? This, of course, there are different ways to draw this. Because I'm just using this one top here. If I was to take it through both of these tops, something very interesting happens again. Look at this. If I was to take it through this top, and then both of these tops, see here, if I was to take it through 2017 top, and then 64K top, and then 69K top, then we hit 108 and 109K, and we predict the top of December and January. This is December and January. But that's why there's a little bit of room for interpretation in trading. If we take it through 2017 top, and then only the 64K top, then we hit the current tops we're in. And you could say, oh, actually predicted these tops pretty well. 123, 126K, these last four tops, right? So then This natural chart, if either way, we're seeing three different levels of confluence, right? We're seeing this 92K level here. We're seeing this rising trend line here on the natural chart, and we're also seeing this on the log chart. They all point to this place at 92K. What I had been saying before was basically that I think we get support. 70% chance we bottom around 98K, 97K, and 30% chance we bottom around 92K, right? You guys have heard me say that in the videos before. So right now it looks like that 30% chance is playing out. But what's going to happen to Ethereum, ZECs, Zcash, a lot of those altcoins, and the stock market, right? Before we answer those questions, first let's answer the question of which crypto exchange does Pablo Jimen use? Well, Pablo uses exchange that's non-KYC. That means you don't need to show any ID. That means even the exchange can't see who you are. That's why I made this link and competition with them. Exclusive, only for Pablo followers on this link, exclusive. So up to 40,000 in prize pool, right? And basically just by being in the top 20, just by in the top 20, you get to win part of the prize pool, right? Just by trading volume. Or top 10, and you get to win part of the prize pool in terms of profit and loss, P&L. And this is limited time only, folks, because this deal finishes on 20th of November. And if you are watching this on YouTube right now, then the link is in the description below. The link is in the description below. But if you're watching on any other platform, such as this one, that's okay. Just click on my profile page, and there's my there's my Stan link or link tree. We click on that, and it should be the first deal that pops up because this is a great deal. Okay, let's get back to the markets, folks. But just remember, this deal is only available on the Pablo Jimen link. Only on the Pablo link. So first thing we're going to look at is SPY. I hope for folks who have been, the SP 500 ETF, for folks who have been following me, I hope you realize by now how big the stock market is. I mean, over the last 2 days, the SPY has it took a 2% fall. Like, okay, SP 500 took a 3% fall on this day, and basically Bitcoin went down 20% that day. Went to from 101k to down to it went from 123k down to 101k. And 2 days ago on Thursday, when it made a drop, right? This is a weekly chart, by the way. When it made a drop to by 2% that day, Bitcoin went to 95k that day. So once we realize, because once this chart turns down, once this SP 500 chart tops, then pretty much the whole bull market tops. Right? So I don't want to scare people. I just want to point out the possibilities here. So one thing I've been doing is I've tried to put on this channel, this rising channel. For folks who have seen me show this chart before, not very often I show this long-term chart of SP 500. I've tried to do a Fibonacci. Basically, this is Elliott wave on the SP 500, and I used to say that, look, COVID crash here. This is COVID crash. Looks tiny now, and this was the bounce into all that unlimited Fed money printing. That's wave 1, 2. Right, bottom of October 2022, then 3, then thanks to Trump, the April 7th crash, right? Bottom April 7th, and then boom, up we go again, blow off top. So my call in Bitcoin blow off top, we're yet to see. But for the blow off top in stocks, what I said was, and you can judge for yourself what's happening right now. I said September to November, we top around this 5 area, which is 570 to 600. I mean, the 700, sorry, 670. So here to 700, 670 to 700. Right. I wrote this 5 here. And the reason why is because it's the top of this channel. So another way of looking at it, let's see if we can find confluence, is this channel, this thing in green, right? COVID bottom. This is 2022 bottom, and then a couple of more bounces here, and then the Fed, the Trump bottom. with tariff rates. In fact, if we use this channel, we could have actually predicted this bottom. Now, if we line up all these bottom and we draw a parallel channel, we have these two tops here, and then that indicates at least, if not a top, then at least significant resistance around here. So this is why folks ask me, has Bitcoin topped? What I said was, September to November, we get to 140K to 160. So I was expecting some sort of move like this, right? Some sort of move like this. Sorry, like this. And we top around October, November, right? And then we go down. And that was the ultimate top. We didn't do that this time. If this turns out to be the top, then it topped on October the 6th. The top came in on October the 6th if Bitcoin is finished for this bull run. So it's still within the time zone. I'm not saying Bitcoin is finished. But if Bitcoin is finished, right, then September to November is within the time zone, but not within the price range I gave. Incidentally, I did make a video on October 6th saying if the 4-year cycle follows, then the top is today on October 6th. I mean, I've shown you guys that video before, so I'm not gonna keep on hammering about it. At the time, I only thought there was a 20% chance of that happening. Right now, there's probably like a 30% chance, 1 in 3 chance of that happening. So, but for SPY right now, if this SP 500, and remember, this is the largest stock market in the world, largest stock index in the world. If this turns out to be the top, then everything goes down. Right? Bitcoin, in my opinion, goes down, right? You can argue and disagree with me, but we've all seen how much, like, Bitcoin bottoms here, tops here in November, 1 month early, bottoms here in October, same time, tops here in December, January, bottoms here. It moves exactly like the SP 500 or the NASDAQ 100 chart, right? High correlation. So here, basically, 2 reasons why we need to be very careful. One is because Elliott wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was where I called it 670 to 700 area. And also it's the top of this very significant rising channel. I'm not saying it must be the top here, but this is when we have 2 of these confluences, we better be careful, right? Elliott wave and this rising channel. So what about what about the NASDAQ? I'll do Ethereum and I'll do Zcash in just a little bit. Ethereum and Zcash in just a little bit. So for now, let's have a look at the SPY. Have a look at NASDAQ. So with NASDAQ, this is the NASDAQ index, and have a look at this. It's also the top of its own channel. This is so if we look at this is a shorter channel. This is January 2023. So this is pretty much this entire bull run. Because remember the bottom in October 2022, same time as Bitcoin, you know. And if we link up all the bottoms here, these 2 bottoms, right? And if we link up the tops, that one just missed it. This top and this top, then we get this channel. It's a valid channel because right now we have two pivot points from both the top and the bottom. So usually in basic charting, you need at least 2 of those pivot points. We have one here, one here, one here, one here. And if we line those up, see, this is what happens. And just goes to show you sometimes crazy action prices can happen. It can crash out of the channel and then come right back and then still hit the top and respect that channel and go down. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, right? So, and also to show with the SPY chart, the SP 500 chart, I've just shown you guys, it's not for certain that we top here because look, this is the same chart as the SPY chart. We connect the COVID bottom, looks tiny now, COVID drop. We connect the COVID bottom to the October 2022 bottom, right? When December 2022, October 2022 bottom, and we connect the November 21 top and this recent Trump election top, right? And we come here and we notice the NASDAQ only took a minor pause here and then blasted right through. It. So it's not for certain. When it comes, it would at least be a big resistance. Sometimes it takes a major dump. Sometimes this goes right through. I mean, this is, this bottom, this top, that's a very significant channel. But when the NASDAQ came here, it only took a minor pause and then went above, right? So it's, I'm just saying these are things to be aware of, because the SP 500 is the most significant chart in the world, and we need to be careful of this. What if it pulls back, does some sort of bounce, right? Another 3-5% does some sort of bounce, then goes there again, right? And it tops in, say, for example, if I was to pull this chart down, pull back, and then boom, something like this. May 2026, tops in second quarter, mid-year 2026. What if that happens? What if that's the blow-off top, right? And then we're going to a major bear market starting mid-2026. Then what would happen to Bitcoin? Would that give Bitcoin more runway, right? I tend to think that would be the case. I would still lean towards we get a major bounce off this 92K area. And if, as I've been saying, if this is a major top, if this is the cycle top for Bitcoin, then we could see shoulder, head, a 92 bounce, shoulder, something like this, come down, and then we break down. So then the neckline would be drawn through here to something like this. That would be the neckline, right? For now, we don't know if this bounce is going to be higher or lower, but either way, there should be a lot of shorts here. There should be a massive short squeeze, 116K, 118K, still possible, and then we go down. If that's the bear scenario, cannot rule out a bounce up, right? A bounce up and to make a new all-time high, because look, from the high of 126K down to 92K, that's $34,000. $34,000, that's like a 30% drop. Like, I mean, you have stocks that drop more than that. Bitcoin's meant to be volatile. You look at Nvidia, it just had a 46% drop when DeepSeek came out earlier this year, and then it recovered and made new all-time high. So Bitcoin drops 30%. I don't think it's all over, but it would be nice if I could call the warning up here. Unfortunately, I didn't, and I thought it was going to go to 140s. Right, missed opportunity there. Now let's have a look at ETH. So for ETH, basically, ETH has done well over the last couple of days, but I don't want to read too much into it, because ETH basically did not make a new low. ETH here, even though Bitcoin made a new low, ETH actually held on to, didn't even make a new low. You think there will be lots of longs down here. You think ETH will just come down here, take out the longs, and bounce off just under 3,000. It didn't even do that. So I guess that's some sort of short-term relative strength. ETH, eventually, if we go down one more leg, if Bitcoin goes down to 92K, there's a chance ETH hits this area. This is 2790 or low 2800, because let's call it just below 2800, because you got all these tops here. Right? So Bitcoin goes to 92, 91K, ETH comes to something like here, 2800 just below area, and then boom, bottom, major squeeze up, right? Major squeeze up. For ETH to do another leg up, I don't think that's out of the question either. We've gone higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? Even something like this, and then boom. It's not the scenario I want to see, but that can still happen. Okay, quickly on ZEC, Zcash, I would like to see, if this is going to be a double top, then it needs to close, say, 620 or below for this to be a classic double top, for this to be a top in tail, and then we come down here, 370 support and 290-ish support area. It's also, these areas, 390 and 300, are also strong Fibonacci retrace areas of 50% and 0.3038. So watch the weekly close here. There are a lot of shorts, not as crazy as before, still a lot of shorts. So I think we can still squeeze up a little bit. I don't think we take out 750, but still probably squeeze up from where it is currently at, and then we go down to the 300s. Okay, thank you for your time. Catch you next time.